Dr. McConnell. I am a high school biology and allied health teacher at Eastern Technical High School, and I'm part of the pilot program for the STEMnet initiative. I love teaching biology is that I can relate pretty much anything, in science in general, I can relate pretty much anything any question that a kid has to biology, to science, that everything interrelates. And by the end of a kid being with me through an entire year, at the end of that year, they really know that everything is interconnected. And I think that's an amazing experience for a learner to have and for an individual to understand about the world around them. Even though they'll deny it, I think everyone has an innate interest in living things. I think everyone has an innate interest in knowing about the biology of themselves, about the biology of organisms that they interact with on their pets, their plants, everything. Is it the bacteria that they hear about on the TV commercials? All of it is really just fascinating. And so I think it's really easy for students to get turned on and lit up about those topics. So I think specialists in the classroom will add a lot of value because students don't necessarily believe me when I tell them things. When I teach them a concept, they say, well, I've been told this before, you're not a scientist, you're a science teacher. Whereas when a specialist comes in, someone who's doing this research on a daily basis, making those discoveries that we're talking about, performing those experiments, the students will buy in a lot more to what the specialist is saying. Students have a really tough time getting down to the really detailed micro level. So when you're talking about macromolecules, when you're talking about the things that make up organisms, you teach them about organisms and they can relate to those things. But what builds up or what makes up an organism, that's where they have a really tough time, especially younger students just really getting into really hardcore high school science. So teaching them about cells and about how cells add up to, how the pieces of the puzzle add up to the entire picture, that's really where students have a tough time relating to that. So any way that a specialist could help connect the pieces together for students, help them realize that organelles are important because they help cells do this, which these cells help this organ do this, which this organ helps you survive on a daily basis. So I try to teach my students to be lifelong learners. That learning has become this, why do we have to? Whereas learning should be a thing that we do it innately. We want to learn. We want to understand the world around us. So this is an exciting opportunity to advance students' knowledge beyond what I know. I know what I know and I can teach them what I know. And I can help them, facilitate them learning more through resources like the internet. But I'm not on the forefront of research. I'm not on the forefront of figuring out the answers to questions, whereas specialists are. They're the ones who know exactly what's going on. They know what are the new procedures to try to fix some of the world's greatest problems like cancer, like HIV, like diabetes, autism, all of these big issues. They're working on solutions. And so to allow students to see the people who are working on those solutions and be able to relate to those people and be able to identify and say, I could be that specialist, that I talk just like they do. I could do the exact same job if I continue on this path. I would tell all the other teachers in my building that these are individuals who want to help make our jobs easier. They want to engage, they want to come in and engage kids. They want kids to go into these careers because that's what we need. That's what the United States needs. That's what the world needs. Is we need more scientists, engineers, mathematicians, technicians. We need people who are going to be able to solve these problems, and they want to help inspire. And that's one of the hardest things that a teacher can do, is to inspire, and these are people that want to make it easier for us. I would say to anybody coming into the classroom who doesn't have the classroom experience that even teachers get nervous. Even teachers are in front of the room that first day of school, getting to know, getting to understand your students, that it is a nervous experience. But that's all right. Nervous gives you tons of energy. Nervous gets you excited and ready to go. And as long as you are true to what you are passionate about and you make that clear to the students, then I don't think there will be any issues. So I think because of how higher level science education is run, that people are used to lecture, people are used to being told facts, and because they're already interested, they absorb them very quickly. What I think somebody should come in with is a lot of energy and a lot of willingness to engage with students. It should be a conversation with them, not speaking at them. So things like demonstrations, things like discussion questions, things like video clips, or ways to additionally get students to think about and relate to the topic at hand, rather than just saying, today I'm going to talk to you about cells. It could be a really fascinating lecture about cells, but today's students don't necessarily respond to information the same way that those at higher levels of education are used to and are trained to learn from. I think the Maryland Business Roundtable is adding a tremendous resource with this. I think that they are doing exactly what businesses should be doing, which is facilitating education and inspiration. It's taking resources that are already in place and connecting them together. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's not trying to develop some sort of curriculum that people should follow. It's not developing worksheets for people. It's taking the resources that are already there and just matching them up together. And that's exactly what we need to do. It's smart. I guarantee you it's going to be extremely effective, and it's been a great